The night sky had always been a source of wonder for humanity. For centuries, people gazed upward, imagining distant worlds and dreaming of what might lie beyond the stars. But on this particular evening, something extraordinary happened. Something no one could have ever predicted. It began with a strange hum, low and vibrating, that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. People paused in their daily lives, stepping outside to see if others heard it too. The sound grew louder, filling the air like an invisible force pressing against the earth itself. Then, without warning, the sky above started to change. At first, it looked like ripples spreading across water. Clouds parted unnaturally, as though some unseen hand was pulling them aside. Those who witnessed it described it as both beautiful and terrifying, a cosmic curtain being drawn back to reveal secrets hidden just out of sight. As the ripples intensified, patches of the sky began to shimmer and distort, bending light in ways that defied logic. Some thought it was a trick of the eye or perhaps a natural phenomenon they didn't understand. Others whispered about divine intervention or signs of the apocalypse, but none of these explanations prepared them for what came next. Suddenly, vast sections of the atmosphere split open, revealing enormous shapes suspended high above the planet. They were ships, colossal triangular vessels with glowing edges that pulsed with energy. Each ship dwarfed entire cities, their sheer size making them impossible to ignore. Humans stared up in awe, their breaths caught in their throats. No one knew where these ships had come from or how long they'd been there, concealed by layers of technology far beyond human understanding. All anyone knew was that they weren't made by humans. These machines belonged to someone or something else. For hours, the world held its collective breath. Social media exploded with videos and photos of the ships while news outlets scrambled to make sense of what was happening. Governments issued vague statements urging calm, but behind closed doors, panic reigned. Military bases went on high alert, scrambling jets to investigate, though none dared approach the massive structures. Scientists gathered data, trying to decipher the readings flooding in from satellites and observatories. Meanwhile, ordinary people gathered in parks, streets, and rooftops, watching the skies with a mix of fear and fascination. Among those staring upward was Maya Thompson, a young astrophysicist working at a small research institute in Colorado. She had spent her life studying the stars, searching for answers to questions most people never even thought to ask. When she saw the ships appear, her heart raced, not with fear, but with excitement. Could this be the moment humanity finally made contact with extraterrestrial life? Her colleagues buzzed around her, shouting theories and speculations, but Maya remained silent, her mind racing faster than anyone else's. She couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't just a random event. It felt deliberate, almost theatrical. As the hours passed, more details emerged. Amateur astronomers reported seeing smaller objects moving between the ships, darting in patterns too precise to be random. Others claimed to hear faint sounds coming from the vessels, tones that resonated deep within the chest, evoking emotions, ranging from peace to unease. Despite the overwhelming evidence pointing to alien origins, skepticism lingered. Conspiracy theories spread like wildfire, with some insisting the ships were part of a secret government project gone wrong. Others argued they were hallucinations caused by mass hysteria. Yet no amount of denial could explain why millions of people worldwide witnessed the same thing simultaneously. What truly shocked the world, however, wasn't just the appearance of the ships, but the reaction from space itself. Observatories detected unusual activity among nearby star systems, with multiple signals converging toward Earth. It was as though the entire galaxy had taken notice of the unfolding drama. Alien probes already stationed near Earth's orbit suddenly changed course, retreating rapidly as though fleeing from danger. Even species once considered hostile hesitated, unsure how to respond to this sudden shift in power dynamics. Humanity, long viewed as weak and insignificant, now stood at the center of galactic attention, for reasons no one fully understood. Back on Earth, tensions mounted. Religious groups interpreted the event as a sign of Judgment Day, organizing mass prayers and vigils. Politicians debated whether to treat the ships as friends or foes, while militaries braced for potential conflict. Ordinary citizens oscillated between hope and despair, wondering if this marked the beginning of a new era or the end of everything they knew. Amidst the chaos, Maya found herself unable to look away. She stayed glued to her computer screen, analyzing every scrap of data she could find. Something about the ships felt familiar, as though she'd seen their design before. But where? Then, late into the night, another revelation shook the world. One of the largest ships, the one hovering directly above the equator, emitted a bright flash of light. For a brief moment it illuminated the entire planet, casting shadows even in the darkest corners of the globe. And when the light faded, a message appeared, not spoken but broadcast directly into the minds of everyone on Earth. It was simple yet profound. We are here. Those 3 words sent shockwaves through humanity. Were the ships announcing their presence, claiming ownership of Earth, or simply observing? No one knew, but one thing became clear. Whatever lay ahead, life would never be the same again. As dawn broke over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, millions of eyes remained fixed on the heavens. The mystery had only just begun, and humanity was about to discover truths far greater than anything imagined. The message, "We are here," lingered in the minds of billions, echoing like a haunting melody that refused to fade. For days, people couldn't stop thinking about it. Was it a greeting, a warning, or something else entirely? No one knew for sure, but one thing was certain. Humanity had been thrust into a spotlight far brighter than any stage on Earth. The ships remained suspended above the planet, silent and unmoving, as if waiting for a response. Yet no further communication came. Instead, the world was left to grapple with the implications of what had just happened, and the secrets that were slowly coming to light. As global leaders scrambled to make sense of the situation, whispers began to circulate among intelligence agencies and scientific communities. It turned out that humanity wasn't as unprepared as it seemed. Decades earlier, a group of brilliant scientists, engineers, and visionaries had embarked on a top-secret project known only by its codename, Skybreaker. Officially, the program didn't exist. It wasn't mentioned in government documents, military budgets, or public speeches. But behind closed doors, it represented humanity's greatest technological leap forward, a desperate attempt to protect Earth from threats both terrestrial and extraterrestrial. The origins of Skybreaker traced back to the late 1980s, during the height of the Cold War. At the time, tensions between superpowers threatened to plunge the world into nuclear annihilation. While governments focused on building weapons capable of destroying each other, a small faction of thinkers grew increasingly concerned about dangers beyond Earth. What if humanity's greatest threat didn't come from within, but from the stars? With limited funding and resources, they began working on advanced technologies designed to monitor and defend against alien incursions. Over time, their efforts evolved into something far more ambitious: the creation of starships powerful enough to rival even the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy. By the early 2000s, Skybreaker had grown into a sprawling operation spanning multiple countries and involving thousands of individuals sworn to secrecy. Breakthroughs in energy manipulation, artificial intelligence, and materials science allowed them to construct vessels unlike anything seen before. These weren't mere rockets or satellites. They were colossal machines capable of traversing vast distances in space while wielding weaponry powerful enough to obliterate entire fleets. Each ship took years to build, requiring unprecedented collaboration between nations and industries. And yet, despite its monumental scale, Skybreaker remained hidden from the public eye, buried under layers of misinformation and classified protocols. When the mysterious ships appeared in the sky, many assumed they belonged to an alien race observing Earth from afar. What no one realized, at least not immediately, was that these vessels were actually part of Skybreaker. They had been stationed in orbit for decades, cloaked using technology so advanced that even radar couldn't detect them. Their sudden unveiling had been triggered by an unknown signal originating deep in space, a signal interpreted as a potential threat to Earth. In essence, humanity hadn't summoned the ships. The ships had revealed themselves to protect their creators. This revelation sent shockwaves through society when fragments of the truth began leaking out. Journalists pieced together clues from anonymous sources, uncovering details about secret facilities buried beneath mountains and deserts. Former employees of defense contractors spoke cautiously about projects labeled experimental or theoretical, hinting at work far beyond conventional understanding. Governments, initially, denied everything, issuing statements dismissing rumors as baseless speculation. But as evidence mounted, denial became impossible. Slowly, reluctantly, officials admitted that humanity possessed capabilities far greater than anyone imagined. To the general public, this news was both exhilarating and terrifying. On one hand, it meant Earth wasn't defenseless against whatever lurked among the stars. On the other hand, it raised uncomfortable questions about trust and transparency. How could such a massive undertaking remain hidden for so long? Who decided to prioritize space defense over pressing issues like poverty, disease, and climate change? Protesters gathered outside government buildings, demanding answers. Conspiracy theorists seized the opportunity to spread wild theories about shadowy cabals controlling the planet. Meanwhile, ordinary citizens struggled to reconcile their newfound pride with lingering feelings of betrayal. Amidst the chaos, Maya Thompson found herself drawn deeper into the unfolding drama. Her research institute received an urgent request from a high-ranking official, asking for assistance in analyzing data collected from the ships. Though hesitant at first, she distrusted authority after years of witnessing corruption. Maya couldn't resist the chance to learn more about the technology she'd dedicated her life to studying. When she arrived at a secure facility tucked away in the Nevada desert, she was greeted by a team of experts unlike any she'd ever encountered. Physicists, engineers, linguists, and even philosophers worked side by side, united by a shared goal: understanding the ships and their purpose. What Maya discovered astonished her. The ships weren't just tools of war. They were marvels of engineering and artistry, blending functionality with elegance. Their design incorporated principles of physics still debated in academic circles, achieving feats once thought impossible. Power cores hummed with energy harvested directly from quantum fields, while hulls constructed from metamaterials bent light and radiation around them, rendering them invisible to detection. Most impressive of all was their AI systems, self-aware, entities programmed to adapt and evolve based on changing circumstances. These AIs acted as commanders, strategists, and guardians, ensuring the ships operated efficiently without human intervention. But there was another layer to the story, one that hinted at motivations beyond simple defense. As Maya delved deeper into the archives, she uncovered documents suggesting Skybreaker wasn't solely created to protect Earth. Its architects also envisioned a future where humanity expanded beyond its home planet, exploring distant worlds and establishing colonies among the stars. The ships served as stepping stones toward that dream, representing not just shields but bridges to new horizons. This revelation filled Maya with hope, reminding her why she fell in love with science in the first place. Perhaps humanity wasn't doomed to repeat its mistakes. It could rise above them, forging a brighter path forward. While humans grappled with these revelations, alien civilizations watched with growing unease. For centuries, they had dismissed Earth as primitive, unworthy of serious attention. Now faced with undeniable proof of humanity's technological prowess, fear replaced arrogance. Alien leaders convened emergency meetings, debating how to respond to this unexpected development. Some argued for immediate action, believing Earth posed a direct threat to galactic stability. Others advocated caution, urging patience until more information could be gathered. Tensions simmered, threatening to boil over into conflict. Back on Earth, preparations continued. Military bases housing remnants of Skybreaker went on full alert, ready to deploy additional ships if needed. Scientists worked tirelessly to improve existing designs, incorporating lessons learned from recent events. Diplomats reached out to less hostile alien factions, seeking alliances and offering assurances of peaceful intentions. Yet beneath the surface, distrust lingered. Humanity's sudden display of strength had shifted the balance of power. But at what cost? Would the galaxy see Earth as a partner or a predator? As weeks turned into months, the initial shock gave way to a fragile sense of normalcy. People returned to their daily lives, though the memory of the ships loomed large in their minds. Conversations shifted from panic to curiosity, with debates raging over humanity's place in the universe. Could Earth truly stand alongside older, more advanced species, or would it collapse under the weight of its own ambition? Only time would tell, but one thing was clear: humanity's hidden strength had changed everything. For Maya, the journey was far from over. She knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges both external and internal. But as she gazed up at the night sky, now dotted with glowing triangles, she felt a spark of optimism. Humanity had taken its first step onto a larger stage, and whatever came next, it would face it together. The uneasy calm that followed the unveiling of Earth's star destroyers didn't last long. Humanity had shown its strength, but in doing so, it had also exposed itself to risks far greater than anyone anticipated. Alien civilizations, once confident in their dominance over the galaxy, now viewed Earth with a mix of fear and suspicion. To them, humanity wasn't just a newcomer. It was an unpredictable force capable of challenging even the most powerful species. And as history often proved, fear frequently led to aggression. One alien faction, known as the Krylos, decided they couldn't afford to wait and see what Earth would do next. The Krylos were a militaristic race, renowned for their ruthlessness and expansionist tendencies. They had conquered dozens of planets across the galaxy, enslaving weaker species and stripping resources without mercy. For centuries, they believed themselves untouchable, until Earth shattered that illusion. When the Skybreaker ships revealed themselves, the Krylos saw not an opportunity for diplomacy, but a threat to their supremacy. If humanity could build such powerful vessels, who knew what other secrets lay hidden? To the Krylos, Earth represented a danger that needed to be eliminated before it grew stronger. Their plan was swift and brutal. Using cloaking technology similar to Earth's, the Krylos sent a fleet of warships to probe the defenses of one of the star destroyers hovering near the equator. Their goal wasn't outright invasion, at least not yet, but rather a test to gauge humanity's capabilities. If Earth faltered, the Krylos would strike decisively, wiping out the human race before it could pose a real challenge. If Earth held its ground, the Krylos would retreat temporarily, regrouping to formulate a new strategy. Either way, they intended to leave no room for error. Maya Thompson was asleep when the attack began. She had spent the previous day analyzing data from the ship's AI systems, trying to understand how they processed threats. Exhausted, she collapsed into bed early, dreaming of stars and distant worlds. Her rest was short-lived. A deafening boom jolted her awake, followed by the sound of alarms blaring through the secure facility where she worked. Maya bolted upright, heart pounding as red emergency lights flashed across her room. Outside screams echoed down the hallway. She rushed to the main control center, where chaos reigned. Scientists shouted orders at each other while technicians frantically typed commands into glowing consoles. On a massive screen dominating one wall, live footage showed the Krylos fleet emerging from stealth mode. Sleek, insect-like ships swarmed around the Star Destroyer, firing energy beams that crackled like lightning. The humans in the room froze, stunned by the sight of actual alien vessels attacking Earth's defenses. For all the simulations and theories they had prepared, nothing compared to seeing it unfold in real time. But the Star Destroyer didn't flinch. Its AI system, nicknamed Sentinel, responded instantly. Energy shields flared to life, deflecting the incoming attacks with ease. Then, with precision unmatched by any human pilot, the ship unleashed countermeasures. Streams of plasma erupted from its cannons, striking the Krylos fleet with devastating accuracy. Within moments, several enemy ships exploded into fiery debris, scattering across space. The remaining vessels attempted to retreat, but Sentinel pursued them relentlessly, ensuring none escaped to report back to their commanders. When the battle ended, silence fell over the control center. Everyone stared at the screen in disbelief. Humanity had won, not through brute force or sheer numbers, but through technology so advanced it bordered on miraculous. For the first time, Earth stood tall against an extraterrestrial aggressor and emerged victorious. Cheers erupted among the scientists and engineers, tears streaming down their faces as they realized the magnitude of what had just happened. Maya felt a surge of pride swelling in her chest, but it was tempered by unease. This victory might have saved Earth today, but it also marked the beginning of something far more dangerous. News of the skirmish spread quickly, thanks to intercepted transmissions from the Krylos fleet. Governments scrambled to address the public, framing the incident as proof of humanity's readiness to defend itself. Leaders gave impassioned speeches, praising the ingenuity and courage of those involved in Skybreaker. Social media lit up, with celebrations, memes, and hashtags declaring Earth's newfound status as a galactic power. Yet beneath the surface, tensions simmered. Not everyone shared the optimism sweeping through society. Dr. Elena Vasquez, once a key architect of Skybreaker, but now one of its fiercest critics, seized the moment to voice her concerns. In interviews and opinion pieces, she argued that the project's secrecy had endangered humanity more than it protected it. "We built these ships in secret, hiding them from our own people," she said during a televised debate. "Now we've provoked a hostile alien species, and for what? To prove we're strong enough to fight back? What happens when others follow suit? Are we prepared for a galactic war?" Her words resonated with many who questioned whether humanity should focus its resources on survival rather than conquest. Protests erupted outside military installations housing remnants of Skybreaker, with demonstrators chanting slogans like "Peace over power" and "Feed the poor, not the fleet." Critics accused governments of prioritizing space defense over pressing issues like poverty, inequality, and climate change. Some activists even vandalized facilities linked to the program, sparking clashes with law enforcement. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts intensified as Earth sought to repair relations with less hostile alien factions. Representatives from species, like the Valens, a peaceful aquatic race known for their wisdom, offered aid and advice urging humanity to approach interstellar politics cautiously. Through translators and telepathic interfaces, they explained the complexities of galactic diplomacy, warning against rash decisions that could escalate conflicts. Earth's leaders listened intently, though skepticism lingered. Could alliances, forged under duress, truly withstand the test of time? For Maya, the aftermath of the battle brought both triumph and turmoil. She found herself torn between admiration for Skybreaker's achievements and frustration over its secrecy. As someone deeply invested in the project, she understood the necessity of keeping it hidden. But as a scientist committed to transparency, she struggled with the ethical implications. During a heated discussion with colleagues, she voiced her doubts openly. "Yes, we protected Earth," she said, pacing the room. "But at what cost? How much longer can we keep lying to our own people?" Her words struck a nerve. Some agreed with her, arguing that humanity deserved to know the truth about its place in the universe. Others dismissed her concerns as naive, insisting secrecy was the only way to ensure Earth's survival. The argument grew heated, culminating in a dramatic walkout by several team members, including Maya herself. For days afterward, she avoided the facility, retreating to her apartment to reflect on her role in everything that had transpired. Yet despite her misgivings, Maya couldn't ignore the reality facing Earth. The Krylos hadn't been defeated, they'd merely been delayed. Survivors of the attack undoubtedly reported back to their leaders, fueling calls for retaliation. Other alien factions, emboldened by Earth's display of strength, might see humanity as either a rival or an ally worth courting. Every decision made now carried consequences far beyond anything experienced before. As weeks passed, strange occurrences hinted at growing unrest among the stars. Observatories detected unusual activity near Earth's orbit, with unidentified objects darting in erratic patterns. Communication channels buzzed with encrypted signals, suggesting covert negotiations or preparations for war. Even the Valons, normally stoic and reserved, expressed concern about rising tensions. "The galaxy is watching you," their ambassador told Earth's representatives during a private meeting. "Your actions will shape not just your future, but ours as well." Back on Earth, divisions deepened. While some celebrated humanity's newfound strength, others feared it marked the beginning of a darker chapter. Conspiracy theories flourished, accusing governments of colluding with aliens or exaggerating threats to justify military spending. Rebel groups armed themselves, pledging to resist what they saw as oppression disguised as protection. Meanwhile, ordinary citizens grappled with conflicting emotions, unsure whether to feel proud, afraid, or indifferent. In the midst of this turmoil, Maya received an unexpected invitation. A delegation of alien diplomats requested her presence at a summit aimed at fostering cooperation between Earth and various star systems. Though hesitant, she still harbored doubts about humanity's readiness for such responsibility. She accepted, driven by curiosity and a desire to make amends. As she boarded a shuttle bound for the orbital station hosting the event, she couldn't help but wonder, was this humanity's chance to rewrite its destiny or seal its fate? What awaited her in the stars remained uncertain. But one thing was clear. Earth's journey into the cosmos had only just begun, and the choices made now would echo across galaxies for generations to come. The orbital summit was unlike anything humanity had ever experienced. Held aboard a massive space station jointly operated by Earth and the Valons, it brought together representatives from dozens of alien species, each more extraordinary than the last. Some delegates floated in shimmering liquid pods, their aquatic forms glowing faintly under artificial lights. Others communicated through intricate patterns of light projected onto translucent screens, their bodies too fragile to survive. Outside their ships, a few even appeared as holograms, their physical forms light years away but their presence undeniable. For Maya Thompson, stepping into this chamber felt like walking into a dream, or perhaps a nightmare. As she took her seat among Earth's delegation, Maya couldn't shake the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. She wasn't a politician or a military strategist. She was a scientist, someone who preferred equations and data over negotiations and treaties. Yet here she was, representing humanity alongside seasoned diplomats and high-ranking officials. Her inclusion had been controversial. Some argued that a civilian shouldn't attend such a critical event, but her expertise in skybreaker technology made her an invaluable asset. Still, every word spoken around her reminded her how little she truly understood about diplomacy or the complexities of galactic politics. The summit began with formal introductions, each species sharing its name, history, and purpose for attending. The Valons acted as mediators, their calm demeanor helping ease tensions in the room. They emphasized unity and cooperation, urging all parties to set aside differences for the greater good. But not everyone shared their optimism. Delegates from aggressive species like the Krylos glared at Earth's representatives, their expressions unreadable behind armored exoskeletons. Other factions whispered among themselves, casting suspicious glances at Maya and her colleagues. It was clear that trust wouldn't come easily. When it was Earth's turn to speak, Ambassador Rachel Chen stepped forward, her voice steady despite the palpable tension in the air. "We are new to your galaxy," she began, addressing the assembled aliens. "But we are eager to learn, to grow, and to contribute. Humanity has made mistakes, both within our own world and now in our interactions with yours. We acknowledge these failures and seek to move forward, not as conquerors, but as partners." Her words were met with mixed reactions. Some species nodded approvingly while others remained silent, their skepticism evident. One delegate, a towering insectoid creature from the Zarathian collective, rose to challenge her. Its voice buzzed like static electricity as it spoke. "You claim to want peace, yet you wield weapons capable of destroying entire civilizations. How can we believe your intentions are pure?" Ambassador Chen hesitated, unsure how to respond. Before she could formulate an answer, Maya leaned forward, surprising even herself. Because we built those weapons to protect ourselves, she said firmly, her tone catching the attention of everyone in the room. Not to dominate, but to survive. If we hadn't acted when the Krylos attacked, none of us would be sitting here today. Her statement sparked heated debate. Allies of the Krylos accused Earth of provoking the conflict, while supporters praised Maya for speaking truthfully. The argument raged for hours, with no resolution in sight. By the time the session adjourned, Maya felt drained but oddly satisfied. For better or worse, humanity had planted its flag firmly in the galactic arena and refused to back down. Back on Earth, however, the divisions ran deeper than anyone anticipated. While the summit continued in orbit, protests erupted across the globe, fueled by leaked footage of the discussions. Some citizens hailed Maya as a hero, applauding her boldness in defending humanity's actions. Others condemned her for escalating tensions, accusing her of arrogance and recklessness. Social media became a battleground with hashtags like Earth First and Our Galactic Peace dominating conversations. Conspiracy theories multiplied, claiming the summit was a sham orchestrated by shadowy elites to consolidate power. Amidst the chaos, Dr. Elena Vasquez emerged as a vocal critic of the summit itself. In interviews and public appearances, she argued that humanity wasn't ready to engage with alien civilizations. "We're still divided among ourselves," she declared during a live broadcast. "How can we expect to unite with beings from other worlds when we can't even agree on basic issues like poverty and climate change?" Her arguments resonated with many, sparking renewed calls for transparency and accountability. Meanwhile, internal strife threatened to undermine Earth's position in the galaxy. Rebel groups seized the opportunity to escalate their campaigns, targeting facilities linked to Skybreaker and disrupting supply chains. Military bases housing remnants of the project faced constant threats, forcing governments to divert resources from diplomacy to domestic security. The strain showed in the behavior of Earth's delegates at the summit, who grew increasingly frustrated and defensive as days turned into weeks. Maya bore witness to this unraveling firsthand. During breaks between sessions, she received updates from colleagues back home, detailing the growing unrest. Each report left her feeling more conflicted. On one hand, she believed in humanity's potential to rise above its flaws and forge meaningful connections with alien species. On the other hand, she couldn't ignore the cracks forming within her own society. Could Earth truly represent itself as a united front when it was tearing itself apart? To make matters worse, alien factions exploited these divisions to further their agendas. Some offered aid to rebel groups, supplying them with advanced technology in exchange for loyalty. Others manipulated media narratives, spreading misinformation to destabilize Earth's governments. Even allies like the Vaylans expressed concern, warning that internal conflict weakened humanity's bargaining power. "A house divided cannot stand," their ambassador told Maya during a private meeting. "If you wish to earn respect in the galaxy, you must first address the fractures within your own ranks." Despite the mounting challenges, moments of hope persisted. One breakthrough came when a delegation from the Lumini, a peaceful, energy-based species, proposed a joint initiative aimed at addressing universal issues like resource scarcity and environmental degradation. Their plan involved sharing knowledge and technology to create sustainable solutions, benefiting both Earth and its neighbors. Maya found herself inspired by their vision, seeing it as a chance to bridge gaps not just between species but also within humanity itself. Encouraged by the Luminae's proposal, Maya returned to Earth temporarily, determined to rally support for the initiative. She traveled across continents, meeting with leaders, activists, and ordinary citizens to explain its benefits. At first, resistance was strong. Critics dismissed the idea as naive, arguing that Earth's problems required immediate attention rather than long-term collaboration. But slowly, attitudes began to shift. Stories of successful partnerships with alien species circulated widely, reigniting faith in the possibility of unity. Even Dr. Vasquez softened her stance, acknowledging the value of working toward common goals. "I still believe we need to fix ourselves before we try fixing the galaxy," she admitted during a televised interview. "But if this initiative helps heal some of our wounds, then I'm willing to give it a chance." As momentum grew, so did Earth standing in the galaxy. Alien species watched closely, impressed by humanity's ability to adapt and overcome adversity. Though challenges remained, there was a sense that progress was possible, if only people were willing to work together. For Maya, the experience reinforced her belief in the resilience of the human spirit. Standing on a hill overlooking her hometown, one evening she gazed up at the star destroyers suspended in the sky. They no longer seemed like symbols of fear or division. Instead, they represented hope, the promise of a brighter future, not just for Earth but for all life in the cosmos. Yet she knew the journey was far from over. Divisions among stars mirrored divisions within humanity, reminding her that true unity required sacrifice, compromise, and unwavering determination. As she turned to head back inside, she whispered a silent vow to herself. No matter what lay ahead, she would do everything in her power to ensure humanity rose to meet the challenge. The galaxy was vast, unpredictable, and full of dangers, but also brimming with possibilities. And for the first time in a long while, Maya felt confident that Earth was ready to embrace them. Just as Earth began to heal its divisions and forge tentative alliances with alien species, a new threat emerged, one far greater than anything humanity or its newfound galactic neighbors had ever faced. Observatories stationed near the edge of the solar system detected an anomaly approaching at unprecedented speeds. At first, it appeared as a faint blip on radar screens, indistinguishable from asteroids or comets. But within hours, it became clear that this was no ordinary object. It was massive, larger than any ship or structure encountered before, and radiated energy signatures unlike anything recorded in history. Scientists scrambled to analyze the data, but every attempt ended in confusion. The entity defied classification. It wasn't purely physical, nor was it entirely energy-based. Some speculated it might be a weapon. Others suggested it was a rogue artificial intelligence gone haywire. Still, none could explain why it was heading directly toward Earth, or what it wanted. As panic spread among both humans and aliens, one thing became painfully obvious. Whatever this entity was, it posed a danger not just to Earth but to the entire galaxy. Ambassador Rachel Chen called an emergency session of the Orbital Summit, urging all species to set aside their differences and unite against the impending threat. "We are stronger together," she declared, her voice echoing through the chamber. "If we cannot stand as one now, none of us will survive." Her words resonated deeply, silencing even the most skeptical delegates. For the first time since the summit began, there was unanimous agreement. Cooperation wasn't optional, it was essential. Maya Thompson found herself thrust into the heart of the crisis. As one of the few humans familiar with Skybreaker technology, she played a pivotal role in coordinating efforts between Earth's military forces and alien experts. Together, they devised a daring plan to confront the entity. Using Earth's star destroyers as a foundation, they integrated alien technologies to create a hybrid fleet capable of adapting to unknown threats. Weapon systems were upgraded, shields reinforced, and communication protocols streamlined to ensure seamless collaboration across species. The operation required sacrifices from everyone involved. Alien factions contributed resources, knowledge, and personnel, while Earth diverted funds earmarked for domestic projects to support the mission. Even rebel groups temporarily suspended their campaigns, recognizing the gravity of the situation. Dr. Elena Vasquez, once a vocal critic of Skybreaker, joined Maya's team, lending her expertise to optimize the fleet's AI systems. Though their relationship remained strained, they worked side by side, united by a shared goal. As preparations neared completion, the entity entered Earth's orbit, casting a shadow over the planet below. Its presence was overwhelming, a swirling mass of light and darkness that pulsed with an eerie rhythm. Sensors detected fluctuations in gravity and electromagnetic fields, causing widespread disruptions on the ground. Power grids failed, satellites went offline, and communication networks collapsed. Panic erupted in cities worldwide as people realized they were facing something beyond comprehension. The hybrid fleet launched into space led by Sentinel, the advanced AI controlling Earth's flagship destroyer. Maya accompanied the mission aboard the vessel, serving as a liaison between human and alien crews. Despite the tension in the air, there was a sense of camaraderie among the team members. They came from different worlds, spoke different languages, and followed different beliefs, but they shared a common purpose: survival. When the fleet reached the entity, it reacted violently. Streams of energy lashed out, striking ships indiscriminately. Smaller vessels were destroyed instantly, their crews lost in the chaos. Larger ships, including Earth's star destroyers, struggled to maintain formation as shields buckled under. Relentless assault. Yet the coalition held firm, executing maneuvers designed to exploit weaknesses in the entity's defenses. Maya monitored the battle from the command center, her eyes glued to holographic displays showing real-time updates. Every second felt like an eternity as she watched allies fall and enemies close in. Then, amidst the turmoil, a breakthrough occurred. Sentinel detected a pattern in the entity's attacks, a sequence that repeated every few minutes. By synchronizing their countermeasures with this rhythm, the fleet managed to breach its outer layer, revealing a core pulsating with raw energy. Realizing they had a chance to neutralize the threat, Maya proposed a risky strategy. Instead of destroying the core, outright they would attempt to contain it using containment fields developed by the Lumini. These fields, originally designed for environmental stabilization, could theoretically trap and isolate the entity's energy without causing further destruction. The plan required precise timing and coordination. A single mistake could doom them all. With seconds to spare, the fleet executed the maneuver flawlessly. Ships positioned themselves around the core, deploying containment fields in unison. Energy surged outward as the entity resisted, threatening to overwhelm the barriers. Maya clenched her fists, holding her breath as alarms blared throughout the command center. Then slowly but surely the core stabilized. The swirling mass dissipated, leaving behind only silence. Cheers erupted among the surviving crew members, tears streaming down their faces as relief washed over them. Against all odds, they had succeeded, not through brute force, but through ingenuity, teamwork, and sacrifice. Maya leaned back in her chair, exhausted but triumphant. For the first time in weeks, she allowed herself to believe that humanity, and the galaxy, might truly have a future worth fighting for. Back on Earth, news of the victory sparked celebrations unlike anything seen before. Cities lit up with fireworks, streets filled with crowds chanting songs of unity, and social media overflowed with messages of gratitude. Leaders from every corner of the globe praised the coalition's efforts, acknowledging that success wouldn't have been possible without collaboration. Even critics like Dr. Vasquez admitted that humanity had taken a significant step forward, proving it could rise above division when faced with shared purpose. In orbit, the aftermath of the battle brought unexpected developments. Surviving alien delegates gathered aboard the orbital station, discussing ways to prevent similar crises in the future. Proposals ranged from establishing a galactic council to creating joint research initiatives aimed at understanding anomalies, like the entity. Earth's representatives actively participated in these discussions, earning respect from species who had once viewed humanity with suspicion. For Maya, the experience changed everything. She returned home a hero, celebrated for her role in saving the planet. Yet fame held little appeal for her. What mattered most was the realization that humanity's greatest strength lay not in its technology or weapons, but in its ability to adapt, connect, and persevere. Standing on a hill overlooking her hometown one evening, she gazed up at the star destroyers still suspended in the sky. They no longer represented fear or division. They symbolized hope, resilience, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. The galaxy remained vast and unpredictable, full of dangers yet untold. But for the first time, humanity stood ready to face them, not alone, but alongside friends forged in the crucible of crisis. And though challenges undoubtedly lay ahead, Maya knew one truth beyond doubt. United, nothing was impossible.